everybody. Welcome to ABA Inside Track, the podcast that's like reading in your car, but safer. This is a special bonus episode of the main show. If you were listening recently, then you heard episode 335 about role-playing games in behavior analysis with special guest Danielle Yang. And one of the things we talked about was how one might use an RPG as a framework for a skill session, whether it's an ACT session or a social skill session, or really any sort of skill that you could probably do with BST. And we thought, wouldn't it be nice to demonstrate what such a session might look like? So I asked Jackie and Diana to join, and they said, we don't want to play RPGs. So fortunately, I was able to get Danielle to come back to GM a little kind of a role play within a role play of what an RPG skill session could look like for a behavior analyst. So Danielle, thank you so much for coming back to record a little bonus session with us.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited and nervous.
There's something about the role play when you're role playing with clients, it's like, this is my job. When you're doing it with other adults, it's a little silly, but that's part of the fun. We talk about pros. You might not want to use this as a technique if you hate pretending. So there you go. Right. And since you could play with one person, but that seemed a little strange. So we were very fortunate to have a new voice, I guess I should say, on the podcast. We're also joined by special guest Matt Carter. Matt, thank you for coming to play with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So Danielle, you introduced yourself on the episode, but if people hadn't heard that episode yet, or they're here listening to them in the wrong order, or it's been a while, do you mind just doing a quick introduction of yourself again?
Yeah, I'm Danielle Yang. I'm a BCBA at Fantasy Frameworks Therapy. I have been using tabletop role-playing games clinically for the past 8 years in various settings and ways, and it's really fun. I love it.
Awesome. And then Matt, how did you come to get roped into this recording?
That was 100% you, Rob. But I am, a school psychologist, BCBA. I do a lot of social skill instruction in groups, and I have been curious about using tabletop role-playing games to teach social skills and other kinds of valuable life skills to kids.
And Matt also has allowed himself the luxury of getting to join in some of my RPGs recently. So he's really been stuck. I told him I'd give him some extra experience if he came and played with us tonight. So it's a little bonus.
I didn't know that. That's great.
Oh, yeah, you got a free talent of your choice in our next game.
Right.
A little reinforcement there. So this. For folks listening, just to make it a kind of a little more realistic as it can be, I'm just gonna turn everything over to Danielle. She's gonna do a little bit of an introduction to sort of set the stage, and then after that, we are just going to be sort of playing the session. Matt and I will just sort of be playing ourselves in the context of needing some clinical support, and so we're in this session, and we like the role playing framework to practice these skills. And then at the end, we'll come back and do a little debrief. But Danielle, please take it away.
Okay, well, I am here with my clients, Rob and Matt, who last week in our session we had worked on. So Rob and Matt are needing to work on tolerating some frustrations when things don't go their way and some problem-solving skills. And we're in this place in our therapy where last week we worked on deep breathing. When something doesn't go your way, take some deep breaths. And this week we're moving on to accepting failure, and then pivoting to identify other options. So the way we're doing this in the RPG is we do have a PowerPoint point system where their characters are charging an inner power that they have with every time that they use target behaviors. So last week, we really focused on deep breathing. They were getting PowerPoints. But this week, we're going to fade that back to where they're just getting praise for the deep breathing. And the PowerPoints is only for this week's skill, which is going to be the accepting failure and pivoting, trying new options. So where they're at in their story, their characters are on their way to these infamous tunnels of traps, trademark, that are going to try their ability to accept failure and move on. So this week, when they come into session, we might start with reviewing how they did with homework, how they did with generalizing their deep breathing skills at home, and any other skills we're working on. We're probably not just working on one skill a week, but for the sake of this role play, that is kind of what it looks like. So when we start here in a minute, you're going to see I'm going to do some in-character BST, so behavior skills training from an NPC, a non-player character inside the game. You don't have to do that. I do out-of-character BST all the time. That's totally fine. But in-character is fun and could be useful if you're struggling with some engagement, or it can make it more immersive, make it more memorable. So we are going to model that. We're going to do BST, and then we're going to do some masked trials, because Tunnels of Traps, I named it thus because that'll give us a lot of masked trial opportunities to tolerate failure and try other options. You'll see them get the point system PowerPoints, but you'll also see them get natural reinforcers of, you accept failure, you pivot and try something different, and it works. And contact more of that the natural contingencies of the environment there. You also might see some least to most prompting if they're struggling with the skill at first. And anything else? Is that a good intro?
I think that lays out what we're gonna do, nice and clear. We'll do a little dice rolling too, so we're always fun. So make sure you have your dice handy. You can play along at home.
Yeah, so it is a game structure. We're not playing any specific system right now, but Rob and Matt both have characters in mind that they can introduce for a minute, and then we'll just kind of go through with the dice system and with these reinforcement systems and everything.
So again, for our purposes, our characters, we didn't spend a lot of time rolling them up. I don't know how many pictures I've drawn, though that can be a really important part of the session and working with your clients, so they really have some ownership of the character. But for fun, Danielle just asked us to pick characters we had played in the past so we could be creative on the spot and do a little improv. So I am Nyx the Sorcerer will be my character in game, and I have kind of an elvish guy, I have big robes, a big staff, and I can cast a lot of spells. It's mostly how I go about my day, solving problems.
All right, and I'm Otto the Cleric. I can cast some healing spells and also have some robes, maybe a mace, or something along those lines.
Awesome.
We're ready.
Okay, yeah, we'll get right into it. So Otto and Nyx, you awake at camp on the morning that you will be traversing the Tunnels of Traps. You have decided previously that you would come here and go into the tunnels. What are you looking for in the tunnels?
I'm searching for an ancient tome that has the most powerful spells in existence, so that I can get revenge on the Baron who stole my land, my family's land.
Cool. Yes, you are. Matt, are you helping him, or you have your own goals?
I'm helping him because I see his knowledge and wisdom as a way for me to uncover my forgotten past.
Wonderful. So these heroes arrive at the Tunnels of Traps. They camped the night before. They wake up now, and they've been traveling with their mentor, the old sage, who is a master in the old magic, which these two have some connection to, because they are both chosen ones who have the inner dragon power within them. So you wake up at camp with your master, and as he does every morning, he has a campfire going, and he is boiling some tea. And he gathers you around, and as he pours himself some tea, he tells you, the tunnels are not always what they seem. You can't always get through in the way you first expect. So, he stares you down and makes sure you're listening. If you're starting to feel frustrated, remember your deep dragon breaths. You still have that power. And once you have your inner dragon's intuition activated, observe. What is the situation before you? Look around. What other options might you have for managing it? Because true failure is not having something you tried be unsuccessful. But true failure is ceasing to try. And he goes to sip some tea, and you could tell he wanted that to be a very meaningful moment for you. But then he goes to sip some tea and completely chokes on it. Oh, it's too hot. Oh, it's too hot. Excuse me. He goes and he grabs his water skin and goes to pour it into the tea to cool it off, and no water comes out. Oh, and he gets kind of sly grin. I'm out of water. What else could I try? He blows on the tea, takes a sip. The tea is perfect. There is always a way. And this is what seems to be a frail old man, but he sometimes surprises you, as he does right after this. He, with a speed completely unexpected of his stature, he puts his tea down, runs over, grabs Rob, and puts you in a headlock, and says, "You return." Looking between the two of you, let's practice.
Okay, I'm gonna just try to like I'm gonna elbow him real hard in the back to try to get him to lose his breath and let me go.
Yes, you're trying something. Oh, it seems it's not working. This guy, I mean, he looks so frail, but you're elbowing him, and it feels like you're elbowing a statue, man. This guy is got some tight muscles there.
I don't know. I don't. Hold on. Could I? Am I able to try to flip him over me? Maybe instead, use my agility to try to flip him over me. And try that.
Yes.
Okay.
So this works. You go to elbow him, and then you go to flip him, and changing the way that you're going at it does work. Do you want to describe kind of how that goes down?
I sort of flip. He's really good at I realize he's teaching me in the moment, so I flip him over, and then he kind of does a flip, but he lets me go while doing it. I'm a little embarrassed because I know he was trying to teach me something, and I probably should have, breathed and thought of it quicker instead of getting frustrated. So I'll try to do that again. And I tell him, Master, I'm sorry. I will use my dragon breath next time. I know I need to calm down. I can't just do the one thing and then get frustrated.
He says, but you did accept the failure, and you did try something different. Well done. And with that, your inner dragon also, you feel it swell, and you're becoming more worthy of that power. So go ahead and write down 2 power points, one for accepting the failure and one for trying something different.
All right.
So, way to go there, Rob. So your master settles down and looks back. He kind of shimmies to the side, and you're not sure why he would do that, but he shimmies to the side at first and then looks at you both and says, remember, there is always a way. And then he starts to turn transparent. His body starts to fade away, and he disappears into an ethereal green mist that floats off on the breeze. And then you realize this guy has always had a flair for the dramatic. Why he had sidled over to the side is he had positioned himself right in front of the entrance to the tunnels, and now he is floating away, and you have your destiny before you.
What a showman. All right. Otto, I guess we got no choice but to head into the cave, the tunnels of traps. You
Let's
ready?
go. Yep.
All right. Why don't you go first? Because you got a mace, and we're all wearing robes, but I'm not a strong guy. So why don't you go first? And I'm going to light my staff so that we have a light so we can see in the tunnels.
Okay, and I'm just pause there real quick. I think Rob had kind of alluded to it already, but just to tell any of our listeners that didn't catch it, we did some in-character BST right there. As the NPC was able to do the instruction, the modeling, the role play, and then some feedback. Yeah, it could have been better. I'm sitting here judging myself, but we did some in-character BST, and now we'll go forward with our masked trials.
We're heading into the tunnels, and we can see. Because I'm assuming it's dark in here. Is there any other natural light, or it's just from my staff?
Nope, just from your staff. So you remind me what you were having Otto go first with his mace, but you've lit your staff and are going behind him with light.
The light behind us.
The light behind you?
Well, I mean, it's behind Otto.
Behind Otto. Okay.
What?
Okay. Well, you start to descend into the tunnel are big enough for you to walk in, all made of stone, and it descends downwards. Not too steep. You're able to keep your footing as you go down, and as expected, the sunlight eventually is no longer providing you any light. It is just the light from your staff, and but the way that the light from your staff is casting shadows does add an eerie feel to this. You're not always sure if you're seeing something scurry past or if it's just the way that Otto is moving his mace, but you're not seeing as clearly as you would have with the sunlight, of course. And you go down, and is there anything else you're specifically doing, looking for?
Well, the tunnel's a trap, so we should probably keep an eye out for traps. But my character, I mean, I don't know. Matt, is your character any good at traps? Like, I'm not a traps person as a sorcerer, so I just kind of looking around side to side, keeping on my toes.
I'm vigilant enough to be looking out for them. I'm sure I can't avoid them entirely.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you go ahead and you can just each roll for how well you're looking.
Okay.
D20? D20. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the listeners, just to add a picture, I'm using my special Christmas dice right now. So I got a 16.
I got a 2.
Okay. Okay. Well, Rob Mix is feeling very good about his ability to see what he can with his light. Unfortunately, Otto is in front and is not doing as well in the looking department. And you're taking your steps, and all of a sudden one of your steps sounds different. Everything was on stone, and then there's like a hollow metallic sound, and you blew it. And luckily you stopped just in time as a axe comes swinging out of the side of the wall. There are slits on either side of this tunnel wall, and it starts penduluming right in front of your face, Otto. If you have longer hair, it has sliced some of your bangs off right there. And you're faced with this trap you set off right in front of you.
Whoa. Otto, don't move.
Okay.
I don't know if you should take a step back or if that'll make it worse. Because you're on the stone right now, right? So
I'm going to freeze in case I figure this out.
Just jumping in real quick for Rob and Matt, I think you both just accepted that failure really well. So go ahead and write down a PowerPoint.
Ooh.
And then continue.
All right. There's always a way.
All right. I'll hold my light up so that you can sort of see a little bit better, so you can look around and see. But you're in front. I can't see very much other than this big axe in front of you, and that's kind of as far as I can go.
Okay.
All right. How fast is this axe swinging? Can I maneuver around it?
Go ahead and make a roll. Not to maneuver around it, but just your deductions for how nimble you are to do that.
Okay. Let's see. $13.
And I was late, but I'll give you first another PowerPoint. Both of you, I like using the light and the maneuver, looking at the timing. You're both pivoting to other options. I love that. But unfortunately, this next option, as you do look at the timing of it, you think if you try jumping through, you're gonna get nicked.
Okay. Well, I guess that's not going to work.
I love the accepting failure, though, Matt. You are killing it today. Take another PowerPoint.
Well, all right. I guess I will try to maybe stretch out with my mace and try to slow the axe down a little bit.
Okay. And so this does work. I'm going to let you describe how that goes down.
Well, I take out the mace I reach it up into the air and just catch the end of the axe with it to try to stop its momentum, slow it down. It hits with a loud clang and doesn't stop completely, but slows down just enough to make it a little bit more maneuverable.
It's a very, very satisfying clang and slows down just in time for you guys to squeeze on around there. Take another PowerPoint. Matt, I love that new idea. You're being very creative. I'm going to pause there really quick and just kind of fill in the listeners that we just did. I didn't even count. I mean, usually I'd be taking data and I'd have a better track of. We just did a lot of trials of both of those skills and lots of opportunities, especially for Matt to do that. I would want to lean more towards giving him more success at the beginning, assuming this is a skill he's been struggling with, right?
Woo! We high five in the darkness.
I love it. But do you hit each other's hands?
It's a loud reverberation through the tunnels, which might tell monsters we're here, but let's hope not.
Oh, celebration is worth it. You high five and move forward?
Yep. We're continuing on. Same order, Matt. You want to take the front again? And I'll do the light.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, you did great against the axe trap. I would have chopped my staff in half.
I'm stumbling around in the dark here.
I mean, yeah, you can see a little. I'll hold it by your feet if you want to look down at your feet.
That might be smart.
Okay. I'm holding down your feet because we know that's where some of the traps are.
These robes are getting in the way too.
If we pause again, this would be a great time if you really want to give your clients a chance to now have something come from the ceiling. But it kind of depends what their frustration tolerance and everything is. But I love it. Okay, we're going from our feet and continuing to look. And you guys continue down the tunnel. It does start to level out, which you've heard that the tunnel kind of it goes down into like there's multiple levels of this tunnel dungeon, and you are now on the ground of the first level. So you're progressing towards that great tome that is at the bottom. And you continue down the tunnel, watching your feet. You're able to easily avoid any stubbed toes. Unfortunately, there aren't any more pressure plates in the near future. And you continue walking, checking your feet, and until you hear a loud snuff grunt that shocks you both into looking up and looking around. Probably, right?
I'm gonna get my staff with a light. I'm kind of like lifting it up slowly. I don't know. Do we see some like feet or anything?
Oh, yes.
Near us?
Yes. So you do the slow lift as it reveals these big, ugly, bare troll feet, and continue slowly lifting as camera pans up to see his giant legs, big gray stomach, loincloth, all the way up to the grotesque face of a cave troll with fangs and just kind of staring at you, not moving towards you, but staring at you and grunting. Grunts again. The tunnel around him, he takes it up. He takes up the whole thing. In fact, you're not even sure if he could move towards you. Might be with some... He probably could, but it would be with some difficulty. He takes up this tunnel.
Okay, let's bet. Otto, quick, back up. Cave trolls are usually really weak against fire, so I'm just gonna like get my staff out. I'm gonna like flamethrower, like a burning hands through the staff. I'm just gonna blast it with fire because it's gonna knock this thing straight out. Here we go. Should I roll for it?
Yes, go ahead and roll.
All right, I roll. I got a 4. Ugh.
You got a 4?
I got a 4.
Okay, so I love how you're pulling on past experience. Cave trolls are weak to fire. I'm gonna shoot this fire at him. Unfortunately, you're still in shock from seeing the thing, and you shoot completely to the side. It ricochets. Is it like a bolt? I'm picturing a bolt ricocheting, but if it's not, it could just be
It's like a big like a plume of fire.
Okay, big plume of fire straight into the side of the wall, charring the wall, but not hitting this cave troll.
Okay.
He very slow, I'm thinking very slow, dumb troll turns, looks at the fire, turns back to look at you, and brings in his eyebrows, stares at you in a much louder.
Okay. All right. Well, I took my turn, Matt. What you got?
I love the accepting failure, though, Rob. Go ahead and take a PowerPoint.
I mean, it's a roll. The nice thing about rolls is I usually understand when they don't go my way.
All right. I'm going to try a slightly different approach, maybe. I'm going to stretch out my arms and cast a spell of a blinding light that just kind of emanates from my hands to at least distract this troll or incapacitate him so that we can maneuver past.
Okay, go ahead and roll for that idea.
No. $17.
Okay, so it does work, and just in time, because this troll is he looks angrily at you guys while you start to decide your other plan, and then just as you're going to raise your hands and blind him, you notice he starts to pull out a club he's been holding on his side and is about to move towards swinging the club at you, and you cast your blinding light and recoils back, blinded, hands up to face. I don't know if you want to add any more description to that, Matt.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So covering his eyes, backing into the wall, turning away so he isn't continue to be blinded while you guys can move on past.
Okay, so yeah, we'll run past him. I don't really want to fight this troll.
Let's go.
Okay, so we're running past, and we're running down the tunnel.
I love the idea to run. You're running down the tunnels, and they do start to descend a little bit again. And Rob, you trip. Nix is running. He trips. His toe hits a rock and fall on your face.
Man. Okay. What happens? Do I get damage or something, or you want to roll?
Yeah, why don't you roll for damage,
Okay.
if you get damage or not?
Oh, okay. What should
make a save if you can catch yourself.
Make a save. Okay. I got a 12.
Okay, why don't we actually give you 2 bludgeoning damage? So just mark down. You do get down and scrape some elbows.
Oh, fine. Okay. 2 damage.
Well, I love that accepting failure, Rob. I didn't even make you roll. You just tripped and you still were able to do it. I just want to point that out.
I know.
You're doing awesome.
I mean, it's only 2 damage. I mean, I'll be okay, I think.
Okay.
I got where is my cleric? Does Auto trip over me now?
You want to roll for it, Auto? Because you're behind, right, now? Or are you in front?
I don't know. We didn't really decide. I assumed I was in front. I seemed like I'm a character that would run in front.
Let's do it. Nix was so afraid he ran in front of Otto and then trips, and now Otto might trip over him. Go ahead and roll.
Oh, no. Okay. 11.
Okay, I'm gonna have you trip over him, but you won't take damage. How's that?
Yeah, that's fair. As long as I'm out of reach of the troll.
So you run. Yeah, he falls flat right in front of you. You run, and I don't know. Do you want to describe how you go down?
Did I trip over? I tripped over Nix?
Yes.
All right. So I'm running in a panic to get away from this troll as quickly as possible. I hear Nix say, "Whoa!"
Just bite it.
But I wasn't quick enough to react and tripped over what I assumed to be him, and then kind of rolled a little bit, but was able to find a soft spot in the rocky cave and tumble a little bit and come out unscathed, mostly unscathed.
Okay. Except for your pride, you've both fallen. Not even a trap around, and you've both now fallen on the ground in the tunnels of traps.
Oh man, this tunnel's starting to kick our butts.
Rob, did I give you a PowerPoint for that?
I think so. I have 5 right now.
I have not been keeping track, but
You told us to keep track because sometimes I know you can have have like an RBT or someone helping with the data collection. So we said we pick up the slack.
Okay, so you have I know I praised for it. You did good accepting that failure, even though there wasn't even a roll. It was, just me giving you that failure. And if I didn't give you a PowerPoint, you should get one for that.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I thought you might be at the thinning reinforcement phase of the encounter, so I took it as just the praise. But I'll take one.
Yeah, I mean that could be too. I guess since we're already kind of having this conversation, we'll pause here. He had made that comment about, well, it's a role and I could accept if it was a role earlier. So I wanted to make sure I gave him a failure that was just, I'm the environment and I say so, to see if we could give some practice with a different kind of exemplar there, which he still did great. So
I outed my rule-governed behavior.
Yeah.
Now I have to learn a new skill.
So we'll go on ahead. You said you have 5 PowerPoints. How many do you have, Matt?
4.
Okay. So you continue on into the tunnels. And actually, if we can do a pause of a pause of a pause, like actually edit this out part. I haven't done any prompting.
Next one. I'll get.
Okay.
I can get crabby at that one.
Okay. And so I'm like, I don't want to fade the reinforcement because I haven't even had any. I mean, I guess I might at this point, but I knew you were going to struggle. You just haven't yet.
I was gonna struggle with the troll, and then I realized I rolled like bad, and then I was like, oh well, that's I'm not as frustrated. Then I was like, oh well, I'm not frustrated because it's a roll. Like that's the game. That's how the game works. I guess I could have been. If I'd gotten a good roll, I wasn't sure if you'd be like, oh, that didn't work. No, this troll's immune to fire. And then I was going to be like petulant, like that's not the rules. The rules don't say that. That's not how it works. I should have gotten, but then I just rolled fast.
Yeah. Well, and that's just us not. Like I don't know my clients in this situation.
No worries. I figured if that one didn't do it, like with the next encounter, I'll try something, and now it's an environmental thing. Like nope, doesn't work. Can't do it. Mm-hmm. Everyone's mad, or whatever happens, and then I can give you a chance to prompt.
Okay, and so I think we'll do like the fungi folk. I can prompt there, and then we'll go on to
that's right.
8 PowerPoints is just what you need or something.
Yeah. All right. And Dan, come back in right here.
Okay, so you have put some distance between yourself and the troll. How do you proceed down the tunnels now?
Well, let's not run again. That didn't go so well.
Take another PowerPoint, Rob. Yes. Thank you for pivoting. Sometimes things don't work out one way, and you try something different. In fact, your inner dragon is surging with power, so much so that you can almost taste the fire breath. That power you get when you have enough PowerPoints is so close. You're becoming more and more worthy of your inner dragon.
All right. Why don't I take the lead? I have the light. I feel like looking down's been no good. Looking up's been no good. Okay. I'll stand in front.
I can conjure light also. I can generate light from my hands as I did with the blinding light. I can just keep it a little bit less blinding to give myself a way to see.
That's creative.
All right. And let's just kind of slowly go, because we've gone through a couple things. I feel like we got to be near the end of this tunnel, which means it's going to be rough. So we're going to go slow and be prepared.
So we both have lights, and who was in front?
I'll go in front this time. I feel bad. I've gone on the back.
Okay, so we're going slow. We've got Nyx in front with his light kind of positioned more central. And you're feeling pretty good. You're going slow. You got your light central. You've learned from the traps so far, and you're applying that learning to the traps ahead. And so you're feeling good about this plan as you focus straight ahead for anything obstructing the tunnels, anything that might come out or be there. And just as you're feeling good about this decision, you hear a crunch and realize, I decided to move my light up instead of looking at my feet, and now I'm stepping on something. But you have stepped on something. Did I lose you?
No. Okay. I'm going to hold my light down. What did I step on? Is it a trap? Did I step on a carnivorous plant? What is it?
So after hearing the crunch, it also then kind of squelches, and then there are tiny little screams. And as you look down, you see little mushroom people surrounding your foot and hitting it with clubs.
Oh,
and yelling at you.
Are they hurting me at all, or it's just more?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ooh, all
They're
right.
looking up at you and speaking though. They're yelling.
They're yelling. Okay, but I can't hear what they're saying.
You could try.
Okay, I'm gonna get down low and try to hear what they're saying. 'Cause maybe we could like apologize or talk to them, and maybe they can like show us a way out
Okay.
out of the cave.
Yeah, you get down low, you can't hear and understand. And they're like, "You dumb giant, that's our house. We just built that house. Get out of here."
Okay, like could we just leave them there? Or are there other houses? Like is
You look around, and this little mushroom village is spread 2 yards in front of you and across the whole tunnel.
Okay, so I'm gonna whisper because I assume my voice is like super loud. I'll say, "We're very sorry about smushing your house. We're trying to get through. Can we go through your village?" I'm trying to be very charming because I want them to say yes.
And I like what you're going for. Unfortunately, these mushroom people have some mythology about whisper sounds, apparently, because you start speaking and they're all, "It's the ghost of Whispers Past." And I'm going off of your dice here.
Oh, okay.
your
All right.
Scrooge dice. "The ghost of whispering," and they start running around even more escalated than before.
That's not in the monster manual, Danielle. This is ridiculous. They should have. Can I try to charm them again? Let me try in a normal voice. I'll try in a normal voice. How about that?
Right. I like your pivoting. Go ahead and take another PowerPoint, Rob.
Okay.
And couldn't quite tell if that was a full accepting of your failure or not, but
I mean, it was not great. I could have done better.
that's okay. Well, you're recognizing it, right? That's the first step. That's great.
Okay.
Take one for the pivoting.
Okay. All right. I say, can we go? I'm not a ghost. We're just travelers. Please let us go through your village.
I'll let you roll for that one.
I got 15.
15. You would really scare these mushroom people.
Oh, come on.
The ghost. Now he's trying to talk to us. Don't listen to him.
I don't know. I don't want to crush their stupid village. I don't know. I don't know. I can't talk to them. We could burn their village, but that seems bad. I don't want to do that. I don't know.
As you're Nyx is really feeling this confusion, right? And that's part of this experience. He does see a glimmer of the green mist from before, the green ethereal mist, and a small whisper on the breeze. "Try your master's voice."
Okay.
I love that deep breathing, Rob, from last week. That was great.
Well, if we can't go through, I don't know. Let me look to the side. I'm going to hold my light to the side. I'm kind of sorry, everybody. Sorry. I don't think we can calm them down very well. So if I look over, like, if I look around, like I'm going to look over to the side, maybe, like, is there a pass through there that we missed before? Like, I'm going to look around instead. Is there something else we could do?
Yeah, take a PowerPoint for trying again and looking for more out-of-the-box options. As you do look around specifically for a path, you would see that this village does sprawl the whole tunnel. But as you're looking closely, you can see a few empty patches that might be just far enough for some footprints if you're careful.
Okay. What do you think, Otto? Should we try to like jump through here? Do you have any other ideas?
I don't have any other ideas. I've been really racking my brain on this one, and yeah.
And we could just kill the mushroom village and like just Godzilla their whole town.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Yeah.
That seems cruel. I don't think that's our. We're not those kinds of characters.
For jumping in patches.
I haven't directly heard from you, Matt, but your inner dragon knows that you've been really racking your brain. You've been thinking about other options, and that's an awesome skill. It's what we're working on today. Your inner dragon does swell with that power. Go ahead and take a PowerPoint for that too.
Well, cool.
All right, so I guess we will very carefully and slowly kind of like move like lift our leg and go like one space and then sort of pause in the next space and just try to kind of climb through the village in these little vacant mushroom lots, I guess. They haven't developed that area of the neighborhood. We're going to climb through there to see if we can get through.
Okay, let's have you each roll.
Okay. Come on. 10.
Yeah, 9
You
for me.
guys aren't liking you today. It's not Christmas anymore, Rob.
No, I guess not. Get my January dice.
Matt?
9.
Oh, okay. Well, it was a good idea, and your inner dragons are happy that you tried. You're able to step through a couple of the empty spots successfully. You get to where I remember I said it was like 2 yards across. You're a good yard in when you do step on a small mushroom structure.
Oh, geez. All right. I don't know. Maybe it is time to just crush these. I mean, we're just gonna be killing mushroom people.
Can you cast any spells to make us float over or anything like that?
Oh, okay. I didn't even think about that. Let me see. Oh, I could cast levitate. I do have a levitate spell. I could try. I could. Why don't I think I could levitate you. I'll levitate you, and then kind of you could sort of push you. And you can sort of float to the other side, and maybe you'll see another path from there or something. Because I don't know if I can't levitate it's not flies. I don't think I can levitate myself. I'd have to look into it.
Matt, I want you to take 2 power points. I love how you were accepting that failure and thinking for other options. Rob, go ahead and take one too. It sounds like you're thinking of another option too. You guys are probably getting pretty close. How many power points do you have?
I got 9.
7.
Okay.
Let me get you to the other side, because then I cast levitate on Otto, and he's not fighting me, so I assume it does it pass? Like I don't have to roll for it because he's not resisting or anything. I touch him and he casts.
Yeah, you can cast it and levitate him over.
Okay, so I cast. So Otto, you're floating off the ground a couple feet. I'm gonna kind of like twist you in the air so that you're sort of Supermaning, and then I'm just gonna sort of shove you through the tunnel, kind of close to the wall. So if you need to push off, maybe you can. Do I need to roll or anything, Danielle, or do I can I shove him? I'm not sure how far he'd go.
He's just levitating, and you're just pushing with your strength, and he might be shoving off a wall.
Yeah, I kind of pushed him like not into the wall, but like next to the wall. So if he needs to sort of, move himself along over the city.
Okay, let's have you both roll for your magic worked, but let's see how all of your pushing is working.
A 6.
A 6?
18.
18.
Oh, he got an 18 though, so I shoved him a little bit towards the wall, maybe just enough.
Okay, yeah. Well, your Nix is about to shove. What was your name again, Matt?
Otto.
Otto's face into the wall, but luckily Otto has some good reflexes and is able to deflect it and shimmy himself along and get out on the outskirts of the mushroom village.
Now I'm stuck in the village.
And you're being surrounded by mushroom folk. Oh, with the ghost!
No, I'm just walking.
They're lighting mini torches of whatever mushroom folk use in mobs.
Otto, I'm stuck. I don't know how to get out of here.
Is there anything I can do to pacify these mushroom people using my cleric spells or skills or anything like that?
Oh yeah, sure. Using cleric spells. Is that what you said?
Okay. Yeah, and any kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, you could have like a calm emotions equivalent of whatever game this is we're playing.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try that then. I'm gonna try to chill these guys out.
Okay, go ahead and take 2 power points. I love how you were able to accept that, Matt, and pivot there. I think I was seeing some exception from you too, Rob, so you could take one as well.
I'm stuck.
Accepting failure is a hard behavior to operationally define.
Fungi people are gonna set my robes on fire.
So, how many power points does everybody have?
I have 10.
We do have a 10 and a 9. Okay, so Matt, you are able to calm emotions, pacify Do you want to describe how that goes with mushroom people?
Well, I'm not going to whisper.
They hate that.
I just kind of, I guess, again, sort of outstretch my arms to the side this time and kind of concentrate on my own piece. And that sort of creates this wave that carries over these mushroom people and sort of stops them in their tracks. And they all take a deep sigh.
That prompts me to take a deep sigh too.
And everything just kind of like hangs.
Beautiful. I love the spirit of our deep breathing just taking over today. That's wonderful. Everybody takes a deep breath, and we all know what that does to our bodies, right? Okay, the mushroom people are no longer coming at you with torches, Nix. You've got a good 3-foot leap to the other side.
Okay. Well, now they're not bothering me, I don't have to worry. I'm gonna like kick them over, I guess, when I jump or take them with me. So I'll give a leap, and it's just my movement, right? So I'm 3 feet. I can do 3 feet.
Yeah,
I think
you can make a jump.
I jump over to where Otto is. Kind of jump on Otto. I kind of try to hold on and stabilize myself as I get to the other side. And I go, whoa, whew, thank you. I did not want to have to do the rest of this adventure naked when they burnt my robes. So thank you very much. Otto, you saved the day.
All right.
Awesome. I love the teamwork. And you said you had 10 PowerPoints, Rob?
I have 10 PowerPoints.
Okay. I forgot to give you a narration, but you know that's how much you need. So your inner dragon is fully activated. You can breathe fire. And I hope you don't mind. I didn't tell you earlier. I'm sure you didn't want to do it on the mushroom people.
No, I figured it would not be a good idea. So now that we have the fire inside us, that will get us we can use that fire to sort of like blast the opening to the next dungeon, right, or the next floor. That's like our exit, right?
You now have that power to use when you see fit. But speaking of which, as you go over the fungi village and look at the tunnel ahead of you, you are now faced with a giant sticky cobweb spider web just filling the entire space.
Oh no, I don't want to deal with that. I'm gonna blast it with my firepower. I don't want any like Lord of the Rings killer spiders. No, thank you. So I do my dragon breathing. I pull in, out. I'm visualizing it, and I can see, and I feel the spirit of the dragon inside me. And then I just sort of like open my eyes wide, and just beams of light start shooting out of my eyes. And then I open my mouth, come out of my mouth, and it's sort of like a light and a flame at the same time. Maybe even my fingertips, and it just blasts through the webbing.
Yeah,
just it's gone.
Fire display, the most glorious fire display that you guys get with your inner dragon, which you mentioned Lord of the Rings. You blast through several layers of webbing and spiders, but luckily they are all being consumed in flame, and you see before you and this is a point where I'm gonna pause. It kind of depends where we want to go next. I could say it's the stairs to the next level. I think we did say, I already mentioned there were 3 levels of dungeon or whatever. So the stairs to the next level of the dungeon. Go back in there, and you've cleared this level. You're heading down to closer to your tome and your final goal there. So I think anything anyone want to add before we cut out of this role play here?
No, that would be like the end of the session.
Okay. Well, actually,
right?
let's do a little end of the session. So we're done for today, but next time we can go down into the next level. Yay, way to go, guys. So just real quick before everyone goes home or goes to whatever you're next doing in your session today, I really loved all the accepting and pivoting and the deep breathing coming back. You guys are great. What do you each think? What's something that your character did that you can bring home and do into your real life this week?
I mean, it's sort of just like, when you roll and you're playing the game and you roll and it's a bad roll, it's like you're just going to get another roll. I think I'm just going to remember that. So if something doesn't work out, I'll just, it's just like a game. I can roll again. I can try another thing again. And I can always do the breathing if I get stuck. But hopefully I can just try another thing.
Get another roll. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. I can always get another role. That's beautiful. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I'm gonna persevere. I'm gonna try to be creative and rely on others to help out as well.
And then maybe I might take you here and kind of get into more like, let's set specific SMART goals or something for the homework for the week or something. But we'll go ahead and stop there. That was great.
Yeah, our role play clients, we didn't really give you a lot to work. We haven't done a lot of like questionnaires or anything or IEP goals to build off of. So a little general for our pretend purposes. All right. Well, so Danielle, I thank you so much for running that. For listeners, I think hopefully you kind of got a sense of the encounter setup, how you would include the skill. And Danielle, I know we talked about it on the episode, but this would be a sort of situation if you had, say, clients where you're like, we're just going to practice deep breathing and then talk about problems, and they're sort of like roll their eyes, like boring, this is terrible, I hate this. But they might be more amenable to it if it's in this context. So the old sage having me do the breathing is fun.
Right.
My therapist or clinician telling me to do the breathing is like, I've done this before. This is stupid. Sort of is one example of when this might be a better use of time in a group session.
Yeah,
were there some other?
With the old sage, I tried to work in a lot of those tropes that you've seen, you're familiar with. Number one, if you you're familiar with this, you can do this, right? Like that's a trope that as game masters we can pull on. But then number two, as the players, like it's cool when you're watching, Gandalf or the Kung Fu Panda Oogway or, teaching the deep breathing and the connecting. And I think Matt even tapped into kind of that more like with calming the fungi people, like it's not cool when you're doing it with your therapist, but it's so cool when it happens in a movie and kind of tapping into that.
It is. And I do love, even though we knew we were doing this on purpose, like we had a goal, we talked ahead of time about, how are we going to make sure we show some of the components, make sure we're showing the prompting that it could look like, in-game prompting, the use of the skills, the experience points as the reinforcement. Even so, there is something about when you are playing a game, and I don't know if everybody feels this way, but there is that sense of you can do all the skill. Like the skills feel more fluid in this sort of like, well, I'm playing the part of someone who's really good at these skills somehow. And I'm sure it's not the same for all clients, but there is something to be said for like I rolled and I didn't get the role I wanted, but that doesn't mean I lose. It just means I'm going to take another turn. This is real. That does allow for some of that safety to sort of almost be baked in to the process, as opposed to if like, well, did you use your breathing? And then when you asked someone out on a date and how did it go? It went bad and it failed and I yelled at them and there's no other solution. It's a very different thing where it's like, oh, I didn't calm down the mushroom people. It's kind of the same thing. And then, oh, well, it was kind of amusing. It was kind of, funny. I was able to kind of step out of the role I was playing and sort of see it as just a situation, not something that was these mushroom people hate me. No one loves me. It was a lot easier there. Even when I was purposely trying to.
Breaking up some fused selfing there.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be that could be good or bad. Like maybe you're overgeneralizing, right? And we need to, or undergeneralizing, and we need to do some things to program common stimuli and connect back to real life. Or maybe we're done with the role-playing game and we really need to get into more natural environment training. Or maybe this is the stage you're at and this is really helpful.
Mm-hmm. Danielle, one thing I think, we talked about the different prompts, the Sage even was able to prompt in game. We did the BST in game, which was really cool. But a lot of those things, you could do that as you normally prompt, right? Like it doesn't have to be in game. Because I'm guessing some people who are listening might be saying, that sounds like great. Like I have some clients who I think would love this, but I'm scared. Like I don't know how to do this quite as well, or I don't know how I'd put it all to, like I could probably make the adventure with the skills and the reinforcement, but like I don't know how to make it all in game. Like that's okay, right? It doesn't have to be all in game.
Well, and you heard me, I think I used your guys' real names more often than your character names, and that was all, me out of character, just saying, hey, client, good job. All of my praise was out of character. I did have the ethereal green mist prompt that I thought was a cool little idea. But like if that didn't work, if you were still frustrated, my next step would have been, hey, Rob, remember what we're working on today? That's totally fine. And even the old Sage thing was fun, but I use BST outside of the game a lot too with, hey, let's pause. Let's all practice the skill as ourselves. Okay, now let's get into some gameplay to get through some exemplars of practicing this.
Mm-hmm. And Danielle, in terms of encounters, like how does one go about taking, you take the skill, you take the encounter. Is it as simple as, you would do, say, in a natural environment teaching? You think about what's the SD, what's the reinforcer, what's the behavior, but now you just have to put a kind of a role like a thematic framework around it.
Yeah, you want to start with, what's my stimulus class, what's my behavior class, and then maybe even also looking at the client's real life, what are the common stimuli, that I want to kind of get to. And then all of the flavor pieces are pretty, what's the client interested in? And a skill I'm working on personally, just as a GM, is doing less of the narration and letting the players do more of it. You guys saw me have you guys describe some more. You could do a lot of that with a lot of the storytelling where you're not needing to come up with everything. You just know, hey, I need this SD. Hey, your character's frustrated about something. What is it? And then they might bring up some things because they're pulling on their relations they have in their real life. They might bring up some things that are better than what you're going to bring up anyway. I don't know if I answered your question. I think I went on a tangent a little bit.
No, it's all good. I know for me, I'm very used to being the GM in a situation. So anytime I have to play, I feel like I just end up taking a GM role, even though I'm the player, which I think even at one point I was like, and then this is what happens, even though technically I would say I'm doing this, and then you would tell me the response. But, well, if we're talking about acceptance and flexibility, it's at the end of the session, it's probably not worth being like, actually, client, that's not how the game is played. It doesn't look like that at all. But I know some folks, when they play, they, have different styles. Like some folks, like to play the part. Some want to just say, I will do this, or my character would do this. Like they don't have that same relationship with the character they're playing. They sort of see the character as so different from them that they sort of narrate what they are watching their character do, which I guess is good if you're trying to teach like self as context or something, but isn't always the most fun role-playing experience.
Yeah, well, you want to build your characters based on your behavior plan, what you're going for. If you're going for perspective taking and they want to play a character that's very different from them, but maybe is similar to someone they struggle with in real life, that's awesome. But I definitely would, as you're building the character, you want to set up the operations that you'll need to practice whatever the skills are, which usually means character is similar enough to me or good enough at what I'm not good at, or something along those lines to kind of prime working on the skills.
Oh, and one thing I want everyone, I hope everyone who listened had fun listening. It is very fun to play and be imaginative, especially in these sorts of situations. I think it's tricky sometimes. Danielle, have you noticed, because I know you mentioned on the episode, and I know, and when we've talked, that you've played RPGs for a long stretch of your life, right? It was like a family thing, and it's continued on. And I did on and off and on, but I certainly grew up playing a lot more video games. Like Atari, Nintendo Entertainment System in the 80s were sort of my first ones. So even for me, it's taken me a long time to not see everything as like, well, here's the level, and there's one way to get through this, and it's usually kill the thing. And it's taken me a long time to be like, wait a minute, I could, when they say you can do anything, you could literally say, I want to do whatever crazy thing. And then it's up to the GM to yes and you, rather than, as much as they can, rather than just like, nope, that's not how it goes. There's one solution and you failed. Which I know can be hard. And I feel like I'm curious if your clients today, when they sort of just have so much on-demand work, whether they sometimes get stuck or paralyzed with, I don't know, like walk forward. I can't walk forward. And I don't know. I got no other ideas. Even though if they were there, they'd be like, well, I'll look backwards. I could look to the side of me,
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of specific examples. If they're new to TTRPGs, there are, the first session or two is a lot of kind of getting them into, okay, this is how this works. And some, clients want a little bit more like, what are my options? That I haven't really come up with a specific way to handle that yet. It's kind of just been on a client to client basis. And if it's really not working for them, then we don't need to do the TTRPG. We can do something else. But the video game culture also can be helpful. Like that axe pendulum thing I just pulled out of Skyrim, Like, I don't think there was anything in here that was really, you don't need to be super creative or imaginative. You just pull from the relations you already have.
That's good. I know, Matt, you because you played some before, but you've only kind of got back into it in the past.
I hadn't. No,
Yeah. Oh no, you hadn't played it at all. Okay.
This is a within the last couple of months that I've been doing this. I've done some other kinds of role-playing board games and video games and stuff like that, but not anything that's as open as the kind of tabletop style.
Oh. And what has that process been? I mean, were you in similar boat in terms of coming from like the board game, kind of more RPG board games where it's like, well, there's only so many options because, I can see the board, I have the pieces, I know the rules in the rule book, having to sort of come up with other ideas? Or is it something that's, been easier in a group, or how have you found that process?
Yeah, I'm still working on the kind of the generating ideas creatively part of it, and still kind of, I'm not totally 100% on what the limits of that are, or if there are limits. It doesn't seem like there are.
Oh. I don't think there are.
No,
it is the tool you make it be.
And then, like Danielle, you mentioned sort of some of the things we didn't role play as much, but you mentioned would be we would have done more character work to begin with. People didn't see the initial lessons that would have gone into the kind of scope and sequence of the work you were doing with the clients. And then you'd have like either homework assignment, the summary piece, and sort of know where the lesson was going to go for next time. Like potentially if we had another session where we went down further into the depths, would it just sort of be a thinning of reinforcement, maybe more natural, trying to get to more natural SDs, a different skill?
Yeah. I mean, this was very mass trial on one skill. So the first thing I want to do is start fading to more intermixed trials and fade the reinforcement schedule. So I think if we go to the next level, maybe you guys are struggling with some social collaboration. I guess you weren't. You were really good at collaborating, but
you were great at collaboration. That was the earlier dungeon. Y'all missed that one. We were great at that one.
But maybe we get farther down, and you're struggling with collaboration, or you're struggling with some other problem-solving skills. Like we'll start introducing some other skills, and I can put whatever I want in this dungeon to work on whatever you want to work on. And then there'll still be some failures and accepting failures, but this was very focused on if you don't get above a 15, you are going to fail. And I'd lax that, right? We do less thick of a schedule of practice trials and fade back the PowerPoints, make it more natural, and kind of do some natural fades on that skill while we start working on some other skills too, and intermixing them all together. And I'd fade out the praise on the deep breathing too, and because that was one that was kind of coming over from last week. But it really kind of depends on the clients. And I could speed through the rest of these tunnels, get you to where you get your tome, and then we can go to town and work on a lot of social skills there. Or the next level of the tunnels could have more mushroom people or ghosts and do something more social, just really depending what the client needs to work on.
And we get the backstory and why the mushroom people hate these ghosts so damn much. All right. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed kind of listening to a sampling of what TTRPGs in your behavior analytics session could, like we're saying, the sky's the limit, but it could
it's
sound
so versatile.
something like this. And it is definitely a lot of fun. I know, we unlike in the real session, or perhaps in some sessions, Daniel, depending, I guess, on some of the skills, Matt and I did get to have a little bit of say in some of the adventure kind of types or the encounters, and so we sort of knew what to expect because our goal was not to just play role-playing games. It was to, make this seem like a session that was clear for the listener. But I suppose you could have some clients add some ideas in, or they'd be adding in some of the things from their lives that you would want to sort of pepper into the game to make it more realistic to them and relevant. But if you're interested in learning more about this, if you haven't listened to episode 335, where we talk about the research on this, well, geez Louise, go download that right now. And if you came to this episode from that episode, hopefully now you kind of have the whole package of some of the research behind things and what it could sound like. Danielle, I know you have links, but you could share them again if you want to. I think this one's going to come out right around the same time as the other episode, so there might still be time to get into your upcoming session.
Yeah, I've got a continuing education course focused on this topic, on using TTRPGs in behavior analysis, and we talk about different examples, different settings, and we have everyone set their own, plan their own kind of behavior plan and encounter for their clients, and go through a lot more detail about all of the things we talked about in the other episode and here. So if you're interested in that, we can add the link there. My next one is starting on February 23rd, and it runs for 10 weeks. If you can't do that, I do have on my website, there's a newsletter. It's not really a newsletter. It's just like, I will send you one email when I have a new offering kind of thing that you could sign up for. Or email me. People don't ever talk to people, and a private practice is lonely. Just send me an email. I'll talk to you.
I can verify Danielle did talk. I sent her an email and she did talk to me. You've heard it here, folks. And then Matt, I don't know if you have anything you want to plug. You're just here for the fun of the game. All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening to our bonus episode of ABA Inside Track. Remember, you can email Danielle. You can certainly email ABA Inside Track as well. But we hope you enjoyed this little bonus, and we'll see you later on with another fun-filled episode. Bye.